Welcome to Stop Dating Losers. Get your free relationship advice and so much more on my website. Subscribe and share this video with everyone you know. Let us begin, shall we? All right. First comment of the show. To me, all men suck. You just have to be willing to find the one that sucks the least. Wow. Sounds mighty political, as if you're voting for a politician. You know, the least of all evils, doesn't it? Well, this is horrific, because this is clearly a toxic woman we're looking at right here. All men suck. I really hope that she has the worst of luck trying to find a guy out there, because if she so happens to fall for a good guy who trusts her, he's gonna have his heart broke pretty quickly. I feel really bad for anybody willing to go out with garbage like this. Wow, all men suck. You just have to find the one that sucks the least. Oh my goodness. You know, that's worse than scratching a chalkboard or chewing on ice. It's really bad. That's really sad. But guys, be careful out there, because there are very toxic women out there. They don't deserve to be called women, but they're out there. They're only looking to make your life worse than what it may already be, as you struggle to find somebody worth your time, worth your love, worth your energy, worth your life and soul, if you ever reach that level. Be very careful. The red flags, they're there. She doesn't have to come out and blatantly state that she's toxic, that she's a toxic loser. No, the red flags will be there. She's going to have a bad attitude. Ask her what she thinks about men. That should be one of your first questions, believe it or not. Now, you don't have to interrogate her, but you should be able to answer that question based on her reactions to certain things. Don't ever get with someone who seems to sound like an extremist on a bad level. You better recognize the red flags. I can help you with that, but if you insist on being on your own, good luck, because a lot of these garbage toxic women are covert. They're hidden. They won't tell you blatantly like this. But yeah, what a way to open up the show. This is absolutely horrific. Possibly the worst comment I've ever seen in the entire series, I have to say that. This is like the epitome of disgusting garbage out there. This toxic female. Let's go ahead and move on. Not much to say about that. It is what it is. There's tons of garbage out there on both sides. All right, second comment. I've noticed a lot of men complaining about being lonely, but the second a woman actually says, "Oh, okay, hi, I'm available," crickets. This guy was posting about how it's cuffing season. What does that mean? And he's so ready to cuddle on the couch. I said, cool, let's do it. He jokes. I clarify. I even suggest a day. And suddenly he's acting like I asked for his social security number. Wow, this guy's really scared. Did he slide into my DMs afterward? Absolutely not. Men will write whole essays about loneliness before sending one actual message. Unfortunately, that's true. There's a lot of guys out there who talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk. It reminds me of a band out there. Can't really say their name, but it's called "Don't You Wish Your Girlfriend Was Hot Like Me, Was Raw Like Me." You know, you seem to talk, but you can't, you can't bring the heat, is pretty much what she's saying in the song. And it's true. A lot of guys, they talk a lot of talk, but they just can't fulfill their words that they promise. They can't be the hottest guy she's ever known. They talk a lot. They talk such a big game. But you hear this a lot. It does apply to women too, who talk a big game and they don't fulfill that role that they promise to be. And that's why I agree with intimacy before you even think about marriage. You got to know what she's like in the bedroom. But the same applies to the guys. Women out there, good-hearted women, you better know who you're trying to get with. Because if the guy talks a lot, you should notice there's plenty of red flags. He'll talk a big game. Oh yeah, honey, I'm good at this. I'm the best of that. Hey, actions speak louder than words. Prove it. Because this right here is cowardice. Crickets, she says. There we go. A woman who says, hey, I'm available. Cool, let's do it. And then crickets. Goes complete 180. Instead of charging into that battlefield, he runs away like a coward. What can I say? Now, without knowing anything else about this scenario, we have a willing woman here. Who knows? Maybe he turned her away because of other reasons. But let's go ahead and take it at face value and assume, because yes, there are lots of guys out there who are too scared to even look at another woman, to even say, hi, my name is so-and-so. They're so scared. They don't even want to talk about relationships openly on social media. Only the bad stuff, obviously, to whine and moan and complain. They'll do that. But they don't even know what they want. So then they talk a big game, and then when somebody comes up to them willing to fulfill that role, they run away. They go into silence. Why is that? Is it all about the image? The illusion of being a real man when you know deep down inside you're not? Because a real man is passionate about the topic of love. Let me tell you that. And so is a real woman. A real woman goes crazy over the topic of true love. And you know, the book that was written about 50 Shades of Grey, that's child's play in my world. Seriously? Yes, I've seen the book. I've watched the movie adaptation. It's ridiculous. That's not even real love. But the women go crazy because they imagine a guy who can actually fulfill that role being very naughty. It's absolutely, it's preschool. It's preschool in my world. It really is. And it's not even the appropriate way of demonstrating one's love. I know it's crazy because women, they fantasize over that. A lot of women, not all women, thankfully. I know, but love is way more than 50 Shades of Grey. What are we talking about? How about 100 signs of green? How about 100 green lights and we get rid of the gray? I know that's a play on the name, but it's just child's play. So here, let's just go ahead and take it at face value. The guy runs away. That's not surprising. That really isn't. Guys these days are kind of a complete joke for the most part. I really don't want to say that, but that's what it's looking like. That is what it's looking like. They're too involved in their hobbies, distractions, and then they play this illusion that, yeah, I'm the big shot, when they're really not. So I hope she finds the right guy one day. Sounds like she's willing to make it work out with someone. Hopefully someone special who deserves her love. Next comment. For all the men out there, I think the ladies need help understanding this contradiction on your profile. Long-term relationship open to short. Please go ahead. Well, here's another example of men who aren't serious at all. They're just playing around on social media and online dating sites. Long-term relationship open to short. What a joke. Open to short-term so you don't want a long-term relationship. You're just looking to mess around, because if you were truly serious about love with somebody serious, you would just leave it at long-term relationship. You wouldn't be open to short-term. Why would you want to mess around? It makes no sense. So you're going to try to mess around with somebody who's also looking to, because keep in mind, the one that you want to mess around with, they're going to use you just as much as you're using them. Good luck with that. That's not going to be a good feeling. I mean, you can learn the hard way. Slam your head first into that titanium wall and find out the hard way. Go ahead and mess around with a bunch of women out there and see how that goes. In the end, you'll be left without a chair when the music stops. So go ahead and explain it. What can I explain there, young lady? It's a circus with a lot of goofballs out there. Guys pretending to be serious when in reality they're not. And they probably secretly hate all women. Who knows? Because Just as many toxic men out there as toxic women. Let's go ahead and move on, shall we? Not much more I can say about that ridiculous comment there about men who are just completely not worthy of any woman. All right, next comment. I've heard a lot of backlash of a man wanting to take a woman to coffee on the first date. Personally, I love coffee and matcha tea. I would be excited, she says. It's like an intro to get to know each other. Coffee is a vibe. Good vibrations. Okay. Ladies, why do you get so offended? Well, because there's lots of gold diggers out there. And what did we learn in the other season? I believe it was the last episode. We learned that there's such thing as foodie dates. Foodies. They want to get a free meal by going out with a guy who's willing to pay for the free meal on the date. So what can I say? That's why they're offended. Because when it comes out to, hey, let's just go hang out at a Starbucks or at a cheaper restaurant instead of going full steak, $200+ dinners on a date. Yeah, it's a smart choice. Just go somewhere local and get to know each other, but stop dating. Don't call it a date. Just get to know each other. Become friends. Why rush things? So her mistake is dating on the first date. You got to stop dating. Because dating is pretty much for losers. That's what you're going to find in the dating game. Whatever happened to friendship, right? Okay, so ladies, why do you feel so offended? Because they want more. They want to suck that man dry, and not in a good way. They want to suck his wallet dry. And many of them are successful because the guys, they don't know any better. They don't know how to recognize the red flags. They're like, sure, babe, whatever. There's pushovers, there's simps, there's losers. They don't know what they really want. They don't know how love is supposed to really work. Yada, yada, yada. So that pretty much answers that question. Yeah, it's a good question, but what do you expect? I mean, we even have foodies out there. They want a free date with a free meal, free everything. You pay for it all. Unbelievable, right? All right, last comment of the show. Online dating is terrible. Yeah, tell me about it. I think I just said that. It's full of fake accounts and scammers. You think? Most accounts on Threads and other social media platforms are fake or bots, making it incredibly difficult for those of us who want to date in real life. Why don't you just go offline and date in real life? Kind of answered your own dilemma here. Threads and other dating platforms really should investigate this issue, or I'll quit. So quit! What are you waiting for? You should quit these social media platforms and dating apps. What are you doing? You want to waste more time of your life, more precious time of your life? I mean, it's funny, and then you want the platforms to investigate. They don't care. They're making their millions of dollars and billions of dollars. They're not going to do anything about, and what could they do about fake accounts and scammers? Well, the scammers, if they're trying to go after your wallet, yeah, they should always do something. But, they always do try. Maybe they don't try hard enough, but the fake accounts, they're doing verification these days. But a lot of people don't want that either. So it's one extreme or the other. Either they crack down on fake accounts with age verification and yada yada, or I'm all for allowing fake accounts to exist. Why not? Because I'm a big fan of privacy, but that's another conversation. But yeah, fake accounts and scammers, what did you expect? It's just one more huge reason to stay out of the dating, online dating, and even offline dating. Stop trying to rush things. What are you doing? You're just wasting time. Just because you can sprint doesn't mean you'll get there any quicker. You're just giving yourself more likelihood to trip all over yourself and tumble and hurt yourself trying to make it happen so fast. Slow down. Get to know somebody that you're interested in. If you can establish a successful friendship, you're on the path towards something potentially magical. But if you want to just run and say, because this is laziness. Online dating is laziness. Offline dating is laziness. We can talk about offline dating and why that's lazy. Because it is lazy. You set up a date. We're going to meet up at okay. And then you're going to have a few conversations. Enjoy the activity together. Okay, you're rushing things. You don't even know each other yet. And I can't believe so many people still don't get it. But by all means, keep tripping all over yourselves by playing the dating game. It's not that dating doesn't work. It's just that dating is not supposed to exist. Just go out with somebody as friends and get to know each other and explain your intentions. Explain that if our friendship goes great, I am interested in potentially becoming partners with you. That's it. You have to establish trust as friends first. If you don't do that, then all you're trying to do is take shortcuts, get rich quick. Well, it doesn't work with love. Find love quick. You don't find love. You develop it with somebody who you first establish a good sense of trust. And that way, you make sure that 20 years, 30 years down the road, they're not going to betray you or treat you like garbage and abuse you, use you and abuse you. There are red flags. But if you are the one who creates the red flags yourself by trying to rush things, then it's all on you. Now it's pretty much your fault too. All right. So with that said, if you've made it this far, congratulations. You're one serious person. So why not take it a step further by becoming a free member on my website for free relationship advice and so much more. And I really do mean much more. Much love, everybody.